All right, the time now is 11:05. We're going to go ahead and begin so that we can be respectful of your time. Mindy will continue to let people in as they enter into the waiting room, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our PN5 Policy and Informational Series hosted by the Mississippi Forum for the Future. Together, we're working to build a state of the art early childhood system, one that supports children, families, and communities from prenatal to age 5. Next slide, Mindy. All right, here's a quick look at today's agenda. We'll begin with an overview of Form for the Future and our common agenda, followed by a presentation from Micayla Tatum of Mississippi First on the importance of child care in state-funded pre-K. Throughout today's session, we'll have opportunities to reflect, share ideas, and connect around our shared priorities. Who are we? The Forum for the Future brings together the people and partnerships shaping Mississippi's early childhood landscape. We're a coalition of coalitions, 321 members strong and growing, committed to collective action for children and families. Our members represent organizations, advocates, and individuals who share one goal, ensuring every child in Mississippi starts strong and stays strong. And I know we may not be at 321, maybe at more today. I didn't get a chance to look. But how do we operate? We operate through collaboration and shared ownership. That this means showing up, being present, and treating this work as ours, not yours or mine, but collective. We trust the process, balance power, and lean into discomfort as we tackle through issues together. And we stay committed for the long haul because system change takes time, persistence, and partnership. Next slide. We do this through the operation of I'll go back. I'm sorry, Amanda. Go ahead. Okay, so going back to our principles and our norms is what you see on the slide now. Our guiding principle is bold leadership, acknowledging that inequities exist in the systems around us and working together to redesign them. We make inequities visible, dismantle barriers, and hold space for learning and accountability over perfection. This is about staying in a relationship while we're pushing for systemic change. All right, so that's a quick overview of our principles and our norms. And we're not going to go into the timeline. And this timeline just gives you an overview of what we have been doing for the last year on our journey to get to where we are now. So from May 2024 through early 2025, we've been building consensus around our common agenda. In the spring, we had a vote. We brought everything to a full member vote, and we gained consensus, and so now we're celebrating that celebration of alignment, and we're grateful for the steering committee members who stepped up to help lead discussions and shape this shared vision. So where we are now, we are at the public launch of our priorities, which would be next Wednesday. No, this Wednesday. It will be this Wednesday. And we are going to have some presentations on how to take what we have worked on and share it out so that we can continue to gain momentum for our priorities. All right. Our collective work centers around three major priorities that form the backbone of our early childhood vision: state of the art care and education, strong families, and healthy mothers and children. Together, these priorities created a coordinated and efficient system that ensures every child and family in Mississippi can thrive. And I want to bring your attention back to our Forum for the Future Common Agenda, which is by 2030, Mississippi's early childhood system will be state of the art, fueled by robust data, resources, and cross sector collaboration to meet the needs of all children and families. And then today's discussion will fall within our priority of state of the art early care and education. All right, next slide, Mindy. All right, now we're going to take a dive into our priorities. The first one being, next slide, state of the art early care and education. Our goal is to ensure every Mississippi child has access to high quality early learning and care. We're focused on improving outcomes, expanding access to affordable child care, elevating the workforce, and sustaining long term investment in the system. This is how we build a strong foundation for lifelong success. Next slide. Strong families. To strengthen families, we're working toward a responsive, family driven system that meets families where they are. We're advocating for equitable access to paid family and medical leave, and we're strengthening child welfare practices to help families remain stable and secure. When families are strong, children and communities thrive. And our last one is healthy mothers and children. Our vision for healthy mothers and children focuses on access to quality health care, nutritious food, safe environments, and mental health support. We're building an ecosystem that supports mothers and children from conception through early childhood, ensuring every family has what they need to be healthy and whole. All right, next. This work all connects to one simple truth. When systems are coordinated, families are stronger and children thrive. Mississippi's early childhood system must work together, state to local, to support families at every step. And so connected systems, go back one more slide, Mindy. We'll go back one. Okay, connected systems, strong families, thriving children. And Mississippi's early childhood system works together, again, state and local, to support families every step of the way. And so that explains to you all our form for our priorities in our system in which we want to exist in. And then on our next slide, I'm going to tell you a little bit about an event that we are having Wednesday. Next slide, Mindy, which is going to be our State of the Babies, which will be held on October the 22nd at Eagle Ridge Conference Center. And it's our annual gathering where leaders, advocates, and families come together to celebrate wins, elevate stories, and align on priorities for the year ahead. We'll reflect, learn, and chart a bold path forward for Mississippi youngest citizens. And next slide, Mindy. If you have not committed to becoming a member of Form for the Future, and so if some of the things that I just mentioned to you about our priorities and our mission and our goal by 2030, which is fastly approaching, then we would like for you to be a member of our coalition. Membership is free and it's open to anyone committed to helping Mississippi's babies and families. Members gain access to our Mississippi focused resources, talking points, and partnerships that help amplify impact. And in return, we ask members to stay engaged, join meetings, share opportunities, and help spread the word about this work. And Mindy put into the chat our website address where you can go and learn more about Mississippi Forum for the Future. It's mississippifuture.org. And you can also scan the QR code on your screen, which will take you to the website as well. And I'm going to ask Mindy if she wants to share anything about our website and what they can find there, since we have now have a dedicated site for the coalition.
Yes, I'm really excited. We've been doing a big overhaul on the website for the majority of this year. So we're super excited to get more and launch more on there. You'll find the list of our agenda items and, excuse me, the common agenda items, and you will be able to see a little more in detail about each. You can find access to a shared calendar. Um, where all early childhood events and meetings are going to be uploaded and updated frequently. You can submit an event or meeting there. We add it for you. We're just really excited about all the different areas within the website that's continually growing. And with our launch on Wednesday, you'll be able to see more about a working group called Built for Babies, which is amazing. There's going to be a new website for that campaign. Um, and we're just really excited about what's going on with the website. Also, to mention, we now have forum specific social media accounts. We have a Facebook, an Instagram, and a YouTube channel. So the recording of this meeting today will be found on the YouTube channel later this week. And we're really excited to get those up and running. You will find them all at Mississippi Future on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's just at Mississippi Future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mindy. And as you all can tell, together we're building something powerful, a system where connected efforts lead to strong families And I want to thank you all for being a part of the Forum for the Future. And if you're not a member, we're looking forward to your membership. And want to thank you, those of you who is not I want to thank those of you who have attended our sessions throughout the last month. We have heard from Mississippi Low Income Childcare Initiative, Mississippi State University Social Science Research Center, Systems Change Lab, Six Dimensions, and now we're getting ready to hear from Mississippi First. And so I just want to thank all of our individuals who have joined us with over this past few weeks for our informational series. And I am now going to turn it over to Micayla Tatum, who will bring to you her presentation. Thank you, Micayla.
Thank you, April. And also thank you to the Mississippi Early Learning Alliance and the Mississippi Forum of the Future for having me this morning. Yes, and also thank you to everyone who made it. I know it is cold, to April's point, which I know some people are happy about. I'm never going to be happy about that. But thank you. I am going to share my screen and get started. And I don't know if I'll be able to get a thumbs up, but hopefully I'll be able to get a thumbs up when y'all can see. Let's see. Can y'all see this?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Notes or just the PowerPoint?
Just the PowerPoint.
Okay.
No,
Perfect.
no notes. Okay.
Okay. So I first want to say, as April said, I'm the Micayla Tatum. I'm the Director of Early Childhood Policy at Mississippi First. And I just want to go through what we're going to do, what this presentation sort of entails today. This is not meant to be a deep look into the early learning collaboratives, but it is a good sort of starting point. And I'll leave everyone at the end with my information because I'm sure there'll be many questions. But we'll start just briefly about who Mississippi First is in case you're unfamiliar with our organization. And then we'll talk about the role that we sort of envision ourselves playing in the early education environment in Mississippi. And then we'll talk more specifically about the early learning collaboratives and recruitment into, we're starting an early learning collaborative in the state. And just for context, when I say early learning collaborative, I mean state funded pre-K. So just as a start, Mississippi First was founded in 2008. We were driven by the fact that Mississippi has historically been last in areas where we would ideally want to be first, including education. And so we set a bold vision of Mississippi First in education nationally. And our mission and the way that we're going to get there is through transformative policy solutions. We believe that every child should have an excellent option in Mississippi. And that's how we sort of approach our work. And we also approach our work with our core values. We have 7 core values that align to the work that we do: engagement, results, collaboration, transparency, nonpartisanship, accountability, and equity. We are an education policy organization, so we always will look for research-based interventions and solutions to problems that we're identifying. And we'll work with whoever we need to work with to get those things done. And also in terms of our work, we are committed to advancing the best education policy ideas. And we do that work through the policy continuum. We start with research and analysis, and we move all the way through to evaluation. This work is in our implementation stage. The Early Learning Collaborative State Funded Pre-K are a long established policy win, which we're excited about. But that doesn't mean that we should, rest on our laurels. It's time to also think about how do we improve those early learning collaboratives and protect them as we move into their second decade. And then the people who do this work, I just want to highlight in particular our new executive director, Dr. Angela Bass. She joined us in late July, and we're super excited to have her. And she, came to, I was going to say she came to us from Mella, but that's not completely true. But she kind of came to us from Mella. It was a roundabout way. But she also is coming home, so we're very excited to have her. And I just wanted to highlight that. And then I wanted to talk more specifically about the issues that we focus on. So we are a nonpartisan, nonprofit education policy organization, but we have different buckets that we support. The bucket that I own is early education. So when we started, early education for us was really pre-K. We did not have state funded pre-K at the time when we started, and so we worked to change that. And now, as we've sort of grown into our own as an organization, but also as the program has grown into its own, we've changed our focus. Or rather, I don't want to say change because it makes it seem like we're no longer focusing on pre-K. We've expanded our focus from pre-K to 0 to 5 more widely, and that started in 2021. So what's our role? What exactly do we do? So we co-authored the Early Learning Collaborative Act of 2013. And once that legislation was passed, we moved towards our implementation, going back to that policy continuum that I mentioned earlier. So we now work closely with the Mississippi Department of Education's Office of Early Childhood, where we provide technical assistance and also support for the overall implementation of the ELCs. This can look different from year to year, but that's essentially what we do, and that's how the relationship began. So how do we get to this point? Where we're not only, how do we get to this point where we're not only in early childhood more widely, but also in this point of recognizing that we need childcare in early learning collaboratives? So I just kind of wanted to give background. In 2022, after deciding that we needed to expand into 0 to 5 more widely and deciding that we were there as an organization, we actually expanded. We did the work of moving into 0 to 5, which is just hiring a person. That person was me. And then in 2023, after celebrating 10 years of the early learning collaboratives, we used that time to go back and reflect, but also analyze the impact of the early learning collaboratives, which led us to this initiative of we need to think about childcare more strategically in the early learning collaboratives. And so in 2024, part of those efforts and some other efforts that we work on led to us launching our policy vision and crafting that with some of our key partners. And then in 2025, this year, we've begun operationalizing our vision. So we've started talking to childcare providers and recruiting them and moving towards how do we get more childcare in early learning collaboratives. And I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. So you've already heard me say an early learning collaborative is state-funded pre-K. That means they have access to state dollars for pre-K. But ELCs are also unique because they have to meet really high quality standards. All 10 of the National Institute for Early Education Research's quality benchmarks, and they also have to collaborate. So, and that's, I think, what's unique. And also, I think, to me, the most important part of the ELCs are the fact that they have to collaborate. So most of our ELCs all of our ELCs must have a school district and a Head Start, and a lot of them, that is their sole composition. But the ELCs, the way the law is written, can also include childcare, and it also can include private and parochial schools. So there's a lot of different, the shape of an ELC can change based on the community and its needs. And so because we have those options, I think that's what makes the ELCs so unique, but also so impactful, because we know that it's an ecosystem, right? Head Start and school district don't exist in silos, and neither do childcare and private schools in a community. What happens in one provider will inevitably affect the other provider. And so that, to me, is why the collaboration is so impactful. So just some high-level facts about the early learning collaboratives, especially if you're unfamiliar. There are currently 4 in this, 4. There are currently 40 in the state, and they serve approximately 7,000 4-year-olds across the state. There's $7,000 per child. That's how much is sort of allocated for a 4-year-old. So $3,500 comes from the state and $3,500 comes from the local. I do want to flag that a lot of times when I'm talking to folks about this, they interpret that $7,000 per child as, even though the $3,500 of it's local, they interpret it as we'll get $3,500 per child. And sometimes it plays out that way when you join an early learning collaborative, but it doesn't always. Often I'll say this: 7,000 per child has to exist for whoever the lead of the early learning collaborative is. And so you won't necessarily get a check of $3,500 per child. It may look differently. It may look like technology. It may look like access to curriculum or things like that. So I just want to flag that because I get that question a lot. But there are also, what's unique about the early learning collaboratives, they meet all 10 of the NIEER benchmarks, which I highlighted before. Those are the benchmarks that mark high quality pre-K, and we know high quality pre-K is the difference between longer term impacts and shorter term impacts. And then they also have access to the state pre-K tax credit. It's a very unique tax credit. It's a 1-to-1 tax credit. meaning that for every dollar a person donates, there's $1 off their tax liability or how much they owe the state. And about 65% of the children in the program score at or above the kindergarten readiness level, meaning that as they leave pre-K, when they start kindergarten, they will be ready to sort of just go right into a pre-K classroom and be prepared. And we're very proud of that number. 65% is huge. And then I want to talk about our recruitment efforts. So we started these efforts this year, but this has been a longer conversation for our organization. But as it stands, there are currently about 25% of ELCs have childcare. So that's 23 childcare classrooms out of 239. So I'm not, and when I say 25% of ELCs, I'm not saying 23 out of 239 is 25%. That's 25% of like the 40 collaboratives. That is not a great number. We would like to see that number increase because we know that childcare plays such an important role in our early childhood ecosystem. And so currently we are targeting communities to recruit providers to join existing ELCs, but we're also searching for providers to start ELCs in new communities. Childcare, as long as they are a nonprofit or have a nonprofit status, are able to start their own their own early learning collaborative. We have one example of that in Monroe County up in the northern part of the state, but that's the only example we have of that. And we think that's certainly a great way to start more early learning collaboratives, especially in communities where there might be sort of entrenched political relationships between a school district and a Head Start. And the goal there is just to increase the presence of childcare providers in the early learning collaboratives overall. And so part of those efforts has been targeting communities and targeting providers within those communities, but also moments like these where we can talk to large groups of people and, you know, get them to not only alert them about our efforts, but also whoever they're in community with or in network with, alert those people as well about their efforts. So, and just as note, we've been working closely with Jennifer Calvert, who runs the Monroe Learning Collaborative. She's the lead. She's a childcare provider. Also the Mississippi Department of Education and a couple of ELC leads to accomplish this work. This is definitely not done in a silo. This is work that we have to inherently do together. And so we're basically guiding childcare providers along a journey to see if it's the best fit for them. Some of our providers say this is a good fit, we'd love to do it, and some not so much. And we provide them with resources, as many as we can as we go. And then as a celebration point, before the start of the school year, I wrote this a while ago, but and I talk about this a lot, but before the start of this current school year, Funtime Preschool in Clinton joined the Jackson Hines Early Learning Collaborative. So that was really exciting to see. And I'm hoping that if you hear from me again in the future, that I have a couple more to list.
I would like to thank you all. Thank you again, Micayla, for joining us today and giving us some wonderful information on the collaboratives. We hope that you all found this information informative. And if there is any other thing that you would like to hear from us, please let me know, and we can invite those people to come and speak and give us more information and resources and share out things. Again, I do want to say that we are having our State of the Babies on Wednesday. And so we're looking forward to having more thought-provoking conversation there. And if you're not a member, please join. And I think that is it. We'll give you all 30 minutes back of your day.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Micayla.
Thank you.
Thank you.